So maybe the trickiest thing about reading the architect scale is that little breakdown on the end. Okay, if you can master this, the rest of using the tool is a piece of cake. So just as a review, when we were working with the 1/4 inch scale, to the right of the 0, do you remember how there were 12 spaces in the foot? Well, 12 spaces, 12 inches, each space equaled one inch. Okay, now we just looked at a different scale. We looked at the 1/8 of an inch equals 1 foot 0. So that time though, to the left of the 0, the breakdown showed 6 spaces. 6 spaces still means 12 inches. So now if we have 12 inches and there's only 6 spaces, what do we get? Well, now each space equals 2 inches. What we're going to look at now is we're going to look at another one of the scales on the edge of the architect scale. And that scale is going to be 1 inch equals 1 foot. So in addition to finding it, what we want to do is we want to figure out how does the breakdown work? And within the breakdown, what does each space equal? Okay, so let's go take a look. So here's our sample scale, and we flip the scale around and we twist it and we bend it and we manipulate it until you see 1, right? And then on the other end we should see 1/2. Alright, so let's identify what we're working with. So if we were to take a look, we're working from the 0, and we go to the right, we see 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if we were to go in and say, give me an inch, we started at the 0, 1 inch to the right, well, 1 inch ends right there. All right, that's 1 inch. Now, we're saying that 1 inch represents 1 foot. So these are feet. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. How many feet can you measure in one clear measurement using this scale? Well, that's right, you can measure 10 feet. Okay. Now, if this is 1 foot, and that is 2 feet, we see the longer our measurement gets. Well, it makes sense, right? The numbers should get larger as the line gets longer. Look at the other set of numbers. 0 and 20, 18, 16. Why are the numbers getting smaller? See, these numbers here are not part of the 1 inch scale. They belong to the scale at the other end of the architect scale. So don't pay any attention to them, okay? We're using the larger numbers that get larger from left to right to read the 1 inch scale. Now, let's talk about breakdown. 1 foot, 2 foot, there's a mark right here. Now, I know it says 18, but let's just think about it. If this is 1 foot and this is 2 feet, halfway between 1 foot and 2 foot, what would that mark represent right there? Would it represent 1 foot 6? Yeah, it does. Right? It would represent 1.5 feet, 1 foot 6. Okay. Now, this is one way of figuring out measurements smaller than a whole foot. We've got marks halfway between each whole number that indicate where the 6 inch mark is. Okay. But this scale is so big that we've got the ability to be very precise when we're taking measurements. In fact, there's a lot more than 12 spaces down here, isn't there? So let's see if we can use the markings down here to call off some measurements. Let's see what we can come up with. So we'll start at the 0 and we will move to the left. There's our 6 inches again, right? Same exact measurement, same exact distance as we saw over here for each mark. Okay, well, what if our measurement was only this long? Right? This scale is so big they even printed where 3 inches is, and where 6 inches is, and where 9 inches is. So here is a foot, just like before. It's always a foot. The breakdown's always a foot. The question is, how is it divided up? Well, I can see 3 inches. Can you see where 2 inches and 1 inch are? Right? Take a look. 1 inch from here to here, another inch from here to here, and then finally the 3rd inch from here to here. See, these long lines represent each of the inches that make up the breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we can easily find inches. How about some of these other increments? Can you find half inches? Well, you should be able to, because if this is an inch from here to here, right, what's this line here going to be? Well, that would be the half inch. Okay, so we can measure easily to the nearest half inch using this scale. And you know what? This one goes down even farther, even smaller. If we go back to the halfway point, we have our first increment. Each one of these little increments is 1/4 of an inch. Quarter, half, 3/4, 1. 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4, 2, and so on and so on. This scale is so large that it is very easy to measure down to the nearest 1/4 inch with precision.